If you've ever seen a photo of a microprocessor die, it looks a little bit like a city pictured from above. So we'd like to use the analogy of a city to introduce our newest microprocessor for servers, the Xeon 5600. You can think of the earliest days of the server market a little bit like the gold rush. We had the internet boom that was an exciting time for our business. And then we moved on and the server market grew in a steady pace throughout the latter part of the 90s and the 2000s, a little bit like the Industrial Revolution. And now we're entering an exciting new phase of our market where we're delivering technologies for the next generation data center, for cloud computing, for internet services. And that's a lot like the future of the cities pictured here. One of the critical measures of success for a microprocessor, but also for a city, is security. You know, back in the early days of the internet and our first server technologies, the capabilities for security were not so advanced, but they were certainly capable of dealing with the threats at that time. Much like in the early gold rush days, people defended themselves against less sophisticated threats. Of course, as the server market evolved, it became more and more critical to build in security and resiliency. Just like in the early days of the Industrial Revolution, we had to secure against much more sophisticated threats and things like earthquakes. But now we're moving into a very critical time for hardware-based security as we move into cloud computing environments and we move into virtualized data centers where workloads and data are moving around across the data center and also across the wide area network. And the Xeon 5600 processor has critical new security capabilities built in. For example, we have new instructions to accelerate security algorithms, enabling people to more broadly deploy full disk encryption and also support more SSL transactions without the need for added expensive hardware. We've also introduced trusted execution technology to enable customers to secure their virtual machine managers and their hardware so that they know that the VMM and the hardware are secure as they move virtual machines around. Delivering more performance is Intel's heritage. And you could think of performance in the context of a city like the tools people use to manage commerce. And just like we went from ledgers to calculators to computers to manage commerce in cities, we've delivered more and more capabilities in processors as we've gone to faster front-side buses, larger caches, higher frequencies, and then more recently, multi-core computing. The Xeon 5600 builds on the wild success of the Xeon 5500, also known as Nehalem EP. The Xeon 5600 features 6 cores and delivers up to 60% more performance than our previous generation on some workloads. One of the challenges for server systems, just like it is for a city, is the consumption of energy. You want to deliver and consume enough energy to get work done and grow the business or run the applications, but you certainly want to eliminate any wasted energy and only consume that amount of energy required to accomplish the job. You know, back in the early days of the server market, just like back in the gold rush, not too many people cared about the energy consumption of the infrastructure. As time moved on, energy became a bigger issue, with the server technologies consuming really significant amounts of energy and becoming now a major factor as customers deployed their data centers and figured out how to cool the environments and deliver enough capability. Now moving forward, energy is a bigger issue than ever. We still have to continue to grow the capability of the server infrastructure, but we're doing it in a way that consumes less and less energy and makes sure that the energy scales with the work done. And in fact, the Xeon 5600 processor can deliver the same performance levels as our prior generation, reducing power consumption by up to 30%. One of the benefits of the performance and energy savings of the Xeon 5600 is that customers can replace their older infrastructure and immediately save money on power and cooling, as well as the maintenance cost. For instance, you can take up to 15 older single-core servers and consolidate them with a single Xeon 5600 server, and you can see this IT manager can save up to $200,000 per month. So we've taken you through the progression of our technologies for servers using the analogy of a city. And many people have visions for cities that are friendly to the environment, where the citizens have a lot of flexibility and freedom to pursue their jobs and hobbies, and that's our vision for computing. We really believe cloud computing offers a fundamental new capability for flexibility, for lower cost, for more efficiency, and we're delivering the underlying Xeon technology to make that happen with the performance, energy efficiency, and virtualization capabilities to enable the next generation of cloud architectures. I hope you enjoyed our little tour of a microprocessor die photo that looks just like a city. And we'd like to engage in a dialogue with you, so please join us at www.intel.com/servers.